What's up, chat? Welcome back to the stream. It's Wednesday. We're getting wacky today because it's a new update day. It took a little longer than I think we anticipated, but new updates for all of the new Chaos Codexes are finally live on Warhamster communities, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We also, inside this, got a little hidden gem. Apparently the Spanish language version of Warhammer Community posted in their Mutatorm Field Manual update new points for Thousand Suns. So we now have a fully fleshed out set of points values for the new Thousand Suns Codex as well, which is rad. But in addition to that, we also have all of these document updates that we get to talk about. New changes, actually some small updates to Chaos Demons, which will meaningfully change them slightly, a very little bit, as well as some kind of clerical updates to a lot of other stuff. So we're going to go through a lot of that first. There are some rules updates, as well as actually Emperor's Children FAQ, which I don't know if I actually looked at yet. So some easy stuff first. There was like a very super duper minor rewording to Lines of the Emperor. I don't think it actually changes anything. The original wording of Lines of the Emperor, I think said, do I have it? I think I do. It was just like when Adeptus Custodes like units make an attack, I think, which isn't technically like correct templating, and I think that's why they changed it, but I don't believe this is a mechanical update whatsoever. If I can find my Lions document, Jesus. There it is. Original verbiage was each time a unit from your army makes an attack. Yeah, which is not... Units don't make attack, models make attacks. So, like, if you wanted to be, like, pedantic and snot-nosed, there was, like, I guess a universe where you could be like, well, technically, this doesn't do anything because units don't attack. Only models attack. Oh, okay, man. Clearly what they meant was models in units. Come on, dude. So that's basically nothing. Flyblown Host did get a balance change. I guess we can actually look at this in the change log if we have one of those, if they do it. They've been really weird about change logs this time around because they, like, the demons didn't get one, even though they got actual mechanical updates to their index. Pretty annoying. So these are some changes we largely already knew about. Typhus's mortal wound ability got updated. The Predator Destructor has an extra strength on its autocannon, which was probably a typo. That's been removed. What's interesting is that they didn't include the Hellbrute weapon skill, because Hellbrutes have a higher weapon skill in Death Guard than they do in other factions, and that's probably a typo. But we don't know if that's the case. Obviously, that hasn't been changed. So currently, Death Guard Hellbrutes better at fighting than World Eaters Hellbrutes. You heard it here first, folks. But otherwise, that's pretty expected. Flyblown Host did change to exclude Poxwalkers from their detachment ability, so you can't just like stick 60 Poxwalkers, scout them 5 inches towards your opponent, and then have stealth on all of them, which I think is totally fair. That is like a balance change for a detachment that was written for the index, in which Poxwalkers were not infiltrators. Having infiltrate scout Poxwalkers is probably too strong. So that is big nothing. Got confused on Discord means nothing. The Lies of the Emperor change, yeah. Yep, big nothing for sure. Wish we got Thousand Suns detachment articles today too. Yeah, we got some Thousand Suns articles. We'll talk about those as well. It mostly just confirms the leaks that we got. So a lot of people who are saying that the leaks that we got were not correct, get wrecked, because apparently the stuff that we talked about in the stream last week has so far all been confirmed. So that's good. Let's see, an index card change. Oh, I imagine this is where Chaos Demons are probably. No, they didn't include them. All right. Cool, man. There was a change to Leagues of Votann. This is going to be mostly quality of life for kind of play, ease of play. So previously, and this actually came up on stream when we streamed Richmond Open. Previously, the Hearth Band or the Oath Band detachment ability said choose 2 additional units because it had been built to. It had been designed initially independently. They added Hearthband, and Hearthband didn't have any way to generate judgment tokens at the start of the game like Oathband did. So they added to the army ability that you get to choose 2 units to grant 2 judgment tokens to at the start of the game. Then they changed Oathband, and they kind of fucked it up. They didn't do a good job. The Oathband detached ability says choose 2 additional units. When either of those units are killed, you gain CP. First of all, it doesn't tell you to choose additional to what. So you're just sort of meant to extrapolate that you choose additional units to gain judgment tokens. However, the text of the rule basically outright states that the choices that you make for Oathband are the only ones you generated CP on. So you would choose 2 to get judgment tokens and not generate CP, and then 2 additional to gain judgment tokens that do generate CP. They have clarified that's not how it's supposed to work. Thank goodness, because it was really annoying to be like, wait, which one is the Oathband one, and which one is the Eye of the Ancestors one? Can you tell me? And you don't have to do that anymore. Now, does Ruthless Efficiency award CP when any of the 4 units that started the battle with judgment tokens are destroyed? The answer is yes. So while the wording is still ambiguous, the FAQ says treat it like it was before we changed all this stuff. Please, you choose 4 things. They all gain judgment tokens. They all generate CP when you kill one. Good stuff. I believe that's the only index change, though. Although they didn't include the fucking Chaos Demons changes. Super wild. Germans baffled. Votann's getting unnerved. Yeah. Germany, the only place where Votann is super strong. For sure. How will Thousand Suns do in the Rhino arms race? It seems like they're doing pretty well. I don't know. The fire support that gives you +1 to hit and wound. That's okay. All right. Sanctifier's got like a minor adjustment. Adepta Sororitas has clarified that divine intervention, discarding Miracle Ice for divine intervention is optional. I guess previously it was required. So you always came back with D3 +1 wounds, and you always had to give away a Miracle Dice for it. Previously it was... Can I get my... I don't know if I have the previous wording, actually. Does Wikipedia have it saved? I bet I have it somewhere. Hallowed Martyrs. Previously it was... discard 1 to 3, yeah. So it was not optional. So you had to give up at least 1 Miracle Dice. That means when you were out of Miracle Dice, you couldn't do it, I imagine. And then you always came back with D3 +1 sort of models out of the or wounds out of the off the model. Obviously, in some instances, you want your models to come back wounded. So if you have like the Palatine wombo combo with Through Suffering Strength, where if you come back with wounds, having lost wounds, then you get +2 attack, strength, and damage. And if you had discard a Miracle Dice and roll a D3, there's a 66% chance she comes back with full wounds and actually loses the enhanced effect of that ability. So they made it so that you can just come back with D3 and have a 66% chance that you don't come back with full wounds remaining. So you do have the enhanced relic buff, which is much more consistent, much nicer. Just a quality of life change to change. Give you more optionality when you use the stratagem. Not like hugely balance changing, but it is pretty important. Graspus detachment stuff, I think, is just the Flyblown Host thing. Yeah, we changed the Poxwalker stuff. That's all that changed there. We'll talk about Chaos Demons in a sec. Aeldari got an actual, a pretty transformative set of updates. Warhost Skyborn Sanctuary was changed to be in line with the Aspect Host Skyborn Sanctuary. So they didn't like randomly have a better version of it than Aspect Host did, which was very funny. Kind of annoying that that still happens in today's day and age, but here we go. So that's good. Windrider Host Overflight was changed, I guess, to a trigger at the end of the phase. I think, is that the change? It's not immediately when you destroy the unit. I wonder what the I guess in some cases that matters if for like reactive moves and moves that occur in the middle of a phase or something, but I'm not sure. Oh, Paladins are 4 wounds, not 3. Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. In the last week, I've showcased very clearly just how little understanding I have of the Adepta Sororitas Codex. If you had asked me any Adepta Sororitas stat line a year ago, I would have been able to tell you it by heart because we streamed so many fucking Sororitas games, and now I haven't watched them play in like a whole year, so I just forget what the faction does. It was really hitting me when I was when they took down a GT this weekend, and I had to make a video or a portion of the video for it for Best Armies in 40k, and I was just like, it was not. I had to look everything up. I made some mistakes in that video. What an awkward situation. So previous wording of that was that it occurred when you just after you destroyed an enemy unit. Now it occurs at the end of the phase after you destroy an enemy unit. So you can't change your positioning in the middle of the phase, which I guess could matter for like, yeah, some kind of reactive stuff. I bet it mattered for reactive shooting, especially. Like after you've targeted and lost a model, you can shoot back, and then they had to sequence all of that stuff, and you could potentially sequence the overflight before they did their reactive shoot, so you weren't an eligible target anymore. Which is probably a whole can of worms. Guardian Battle Host clarified that Breath of Vol only works on fusion guns, doesn't work on... I don't know what other... I guess if they embedded like artillery into the Storm Guardian unit, can you still do that? They could maybe reroll off of that. Let Guardian Battle Host have its fun. I don't know. Is that too strong of a detachment? So if they took weapon platforms, can weapon platforms attached to regular to Storm Guardians? No, Guardian Defenders only. So I don't know. I actually don't know where this matters. I'm sure it does somewhere. Oh, it doesn't work on the Autarch's fusion gun. No, it does, right? Yeah, a model in the unit equipped... Oh, with a fusion gun, not a dragon fusion gun. Oh, that's stupid. Whatever. That's unfortunate. I thought it did. I thought that was the whole use case. Why are we nerfing Guardian Battle Host, chat? What the fuck? That's not that good of a detachment. Wild. Anyway, I don't know. That's really weird. All right. There was, let's see, Corsair Void Reapers can take more shuriken rifles. It's fine. This is a new FAQ to my knowledge. This was not included previously. So I don't know why it is not outlined here, unless it was found somewhere else. This is actually hugely transformative to a variety of factions, including Ultramarines of all people. It's actually probably particularly important to Ultramarines. They have clarified that effects that cause you to make a normal move are not considered surge moves, which is of course not consistent with the surge move update, but. I mean, I guess it's good that we get clarification on that. So previously, surge moves, according to the rules commentary, are literally any move that is caused by a trigger. So if a thing happens, you can then move a unit Any of those is a surge move, which means any reactive move was considered to be a surge move, which meant that they were mutually exclusive. So the big thing that this does is it allows you to trigger. So the update essentially forced it so that if you had multiple stacked surge moves, you couldn't use them all together because you couldn't make more than one surge move at a time. Now you can, I guess, because there's no restriction to being able against being able to do them multiple times per phase built in. So if you have, for example, a stratagem that reactive moves and an ability that reactive moves, you can now stack both of them together, which is wild. So that is actually like unironically a huge change, big buff for Gladius Task Force, because if you have unit like the combo weapon lieutenant's the big one. Like basically every game that I see that guy play in, he at one point does 2 surge moves in a phase and becomes actually impossible to attack. And previously that wasn't allowed, but now it is. So, welp, that's a big one. So there you go. Before this update, you could do the normal move just after killing a unit in melee, then consolidate. Oh, that's a good call out for Overflight. Interesting. So you could move, hit something, and then like move 7, and then pile in and touch another unit. I didn't actually think about that though. That's really cool. Not anymore though. Now it's cheating. That's actually sweet. All right. Well, good to know. Thank you for the call out, Zado-san. All right. We got through Eldar. Codex Typhicus and Erratas for Death Guard we talked about. Emperor's Children. I'm interested to see what they have in here. Rapid Evisceration now has been changed so that one Emperor's Children unit from your army that destroyed an enemy unit this phase, and one friendly transport that is able to bark within at the end of the fight phase. I imagine that was another situation where it occurred immediately, and they needed to make it not do that. Rapid Evisceration. On to the next. So previously it was used just after, and then you embarked. So I guess theoretically, I guess you could have engaged 2 units, killed one of them, and then embarked before the second unit fought. But now you have to get hit back by them. But it also allows you to consolidate before you make the determination. So it's kind of a side grade because you can't do like weird, wacky hijinks with the strat, but your potential distance at which you can embark is actually slightly longer. So, all right, that's interesting. Helldrake got nerfed. It's a 3+ save instead of a 2+ save. Okay. Why are we nerfing Helldrakes? They already weren't seeing play. What the fuck? Infractors, Power Sword went up by 1 strength. That is explicitly on the Obsessionist, the unit champion, which actually makes his sword option a little interesting, because previously I think you would just literally always take the whip, but now you lose 2 attacks, but you get a strength and an AP. So it's actually an interesting question, whether you want the sword or the whip. Same with Tormentors and Infractors both got that change. Big change to Coterie of the Conceited, actually a huge buff to it. If your Warlord is not on the battlefield, basically they just said that you are considered to have pledged 0. That's actually not that's not how it works, but I guess that they are reinterpreting how it goes. So the wording of the detachment is at the start of the battle round, if your Warlord's on the battlefield, you pledge a number to Slaanesh. So if your Warlord was on the battlefield, you pledge 0, and you didn't want to kill anybody, you pledge 0. If they weren't on the battlefield, you didn't pledge any. So then if you use the stratagem, Unbound Arrogance, when you destroy a unit, you can add 1 to your pledge. And you didn't have a pledge, you would be like, it just wouldn't do anything, right? but they have considered a non-pledge to be a pledge of 0, which is, I guess, pretty interesting. I don't know. That's wild. So big change for that guy. A little update, a little buff, a nice little buffs for Emperor's Children. Everybody like to see Emperor's Children buffs right now. They nerfed Guardian Host before Inari, yeah, for sure. Guardian Host and Wind Rider cohort, but in fairness, Wind Rider is actually, I think, pretty legit. Just really difficult to play. All right, let's talk about field manual stuff. I think for the most part, the stuff in here is all stuff that we expected to see. So Death Guard points are officially out. We had them previewed from people, but we didn't have them officially. Now they're out, so events can start to use them without having to refer to leaked documents. We'll start using them in events on my server as well. So we are all good to go on all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I have much to say about this. This is mostly, like, we've kind of been talking around these points values for the last couple of weeks, so I don't know if there is that much interesting to delve into right here. Defilers confirmed to be cheaper than Plague Burst Crawlers. I don't know what Plague Burst Crawlers did to deserve this ire. 195 points. Like, okay. Not that I think that Death Guard aren't super duper powerful, so it's okay if some of their stuff is bad. But yeah, 200 points for Plague Burst Crawler. I don't know. You're getting into like Land Raider territory for this little guy. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. There it is. There's points values. We also got World Eaters points values. I know some people had some questions about where they were coming from when we discussed them earlier this week. And the answer was that they were all leaked by previewers, or showcased, I guess, by previewers. I was like, "Where's the World Eaters page?" And it's underneath where my water cup is, because it's the last one in the document. And now we've got confirmation that these are all correct. Yeah. Other than that, I don't believe that there have been any balance updates or anything to any of these whatsoever. I would expect that if we were to see a balance pass, we'd probably see it in the next month or so, because we got one in March. So, yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't be expecting to see any balance stuff until at least June or July for other factions. It does mean that we may have to suffer under the thumb of Death Guard for a little while, but we'll see how they end up going. I think the things that are like really, the stuff that's like really controversial right now, I think, is largely like Death Shroud Terminators, and Fetid Bloat Drones, especially Blight Launcher Bloat Drones, which are super duper efficient. 100 points for that thing, you sure sounds good. Let's do it. A-Bound being 10 points more expensive than Death Shroud. Yeah. You're like, but you scout. Yeah. You just 6-inch deep strike and charge. What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, it is wild. I mean, having a high base on table movement's actually really valuable, but definitely, like, Death Shroud have a gun. They're hard to kill. They have like basically the same damage output, and then they get better at character attachments. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Probably going to be 120. Yeah, we're talking about it on Monday, and I think 130 feels like pretty reasonable for the blow drone. Because when you consider it, it's basically a side grade from a Predator. And it, like, right now, it's basically it's a side grade from a Predator, but 30 points less expensive. Just fucking wild. So, I don't know. All right, but the big news, chat, is that we got a first look at Thousand Suns stuff. Let me pull up my oh, I think I closed my tab. Let me pull it back up here. Here we go. So this was originally originally found in the Spanish version of the field manual. They had accidentally included the Thousand Suns page for the new codex. This has been translated, so some of the words are hokey. So shout out to the people who collated this into a like an Excel sheet, so it's easier to read than the pre-translated page. But looks like we got what look like launch point values for all this stuff, which should be interesting to talk about. And I guess we also can talk momentarily about their new preview article. Let's actually do that first because it's going to be relevant to at least discussing the sector. Okay. Really? What just happened? There we go. Yeah, we got a whole article about sector robots. They confirmed that their datasheet ability is Fire Overwatch or Heroically Intervene for 0, which it's not a duplicated strat, so you can't Overwatch them in addition to overwatching with something else. But that's fine, I think. You get it for free, and they have what is likely to be, I imagine, like a twin-linked heavy flamer. So that's going to be pretty reasonable. They also confirmed that based on what we talked about previously, their defensive profile is identical. So they are a... I don't know why the Warhammer community page skews so far to the left. That's really weird. But they're T6, 4 wounds, 3+, 5+. They have stealth baked in, and as well as infiltrate. The theme being, as they discuss in the article, that they like disguise themselves as statues. They're like a suit of armor in a haunted castle. And so you just like don't even pay attention to them, and then they shoot you with the heavy flamer, and you're like, wait, what? Which is, I don't know. It's pretty funny. That's a very silly rationale for these guys, but whatever floats your boat. I think it's fun. They talked about what they are armed with. It's a heavy warp flamer, so probably like 5/2, 1 damage, and there's 2 of them, so I imagine it's twin linked, but they don't say that. And then a Pyroflex Meltagun, which the leak said was a Meltagun with additional strength on it, which should be good. Although I wonder if losing out the 1 attack, if they have a Power Claw, I think is what they mentioned, which may be a more impressive melee profile than getting 1 Melta shot off, especially if you can heroically intervene for free. So I don't know. Especially if it's a weapon skill, it's a ballistic skill 4 Meltagun apparently, so that's not very good. But yeah, that's what we got going on for these silly little goobers. Do any Tzeentch demons have Scout? No. There are infiltrators, but none of the Tzeentch demons have Scout, to my knowledge. Although, who knows what like Tzeentch Chaos Spawn are going to do, right? They could do anything, really. Only interested in new spellcasting. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any info on that. I'm sure we'll get that momentarily. This is no scouts. That's not like it's not the worst thing ever. Like plenty of factions have no scouts. Scouts is like a relatively rare keyword, especially compared to infiltrate. Infiltrate, most factions have access to infiltrate at this point. And now Thousand Suns potential access to multiple infiltrators. But yeah, Scout is a little rarer because it has more. It's like more variable, right? More wider variety. So looking down the line here, Infernal Master at 85, Ahriman at 100, Mutalith Vortex Beast up at 160. They call some of these things the names are kind of funny because they're mistranslated. Like Infernal Brute is certainly the Hell Brute. but just mistranslated. There's also an infernal dragon, which I think is just a hell drake. But we can suss out what those things are, obviously. Hellbrood at 110, which is actually like super inexpensive for this guy. We'll see what his ability ends up being. But 110 might be good if he has a good ability. Previously, he generated you additional Cabal points when you cast spells near him, which is kind of sweet. Might be that he does something different. I don't know. I have no way of knowing. Forge Friend at 140. It means it's probably going to retain the same ability that it does currently. The like -1 to hit suppression ability. So it doesn't have as high damage output as like the World Eaters one or the Chaos Space Marine one, but it is cheaper than all those by a not insignificant margin. So it might be good if the vehicle detachment ends up being not fucking trash. Although its detachment ability does seem like it's potentially not very good. I don't know. Kind of a downside for you instead of an upside, which is not great. Mauler Feed at 130, which is nice. Helldrake 215, kind of unplayable probably. Womp. Chaos Spawn at 65, which is very cheap. We'll see what their ability ends up being because all the new Chaos Spawn have gotten a cool ability. We already have a reactive move printed, which would feel like the sort of like prophetic theme that Tzeentch has, but I don't know what they could have. Maybe they could have like a reaction to it being attacked or something, which would be kind of neat. I don't know. Scarab Occult Terminators at 180 or 375. That's a pretty penny for these guys. 36 points a model, I guess. But 375. Yeah, puts them to like 37 if you get in units of 10. So they must have some really good force multiplication for Scarab Occult Terminators. I imagine that the Terminator Sorcerer probably has a big impact on that too. Regular Sorcerers at 75. And apparently they like might be beat sticks now with their +1. They're like +1 strength and +3 attack ability, so that could be sweet. Exalted Sorcerers at 80, Disc Sorcerers at 100, Magnus at 420, #BlazeIt. Rubric Marines. So it specifies Rubric Marines, which speaks to me that the data sheets are not being split, as we have been led to believe. Otherwise, there would be a Rubric Marine with Bolter and a Rubric Marine with Flamer profile. But what we could get is one of the split abilities where it says, if this unit is equipped with Flamers, do X. If this unit is equipped with Bolters, do Y. If they get a special ability. Or they could just be normal. I don't know. Because there have been rumors about Rubric Marines like turning into Intercessors and getting the Intercessor like focused fire ability. But that has not materialized so far, I guess. -1 to wound all the time for the Chaos Spawn? That'd be kind of sick. What? That'd be super cool. Ahriman doesn't have the choice between disc or no disc anymore. Oh, that's true. There's no Ahriman on foot. I wonder if he's just locked to a disc now, because the Ahriman kit just has a disc in it. I put him on his disc, but I made the disc really low to the ground. I didn't put it on its like big flight thing, because I was like now if you just tell people he's on foot and that's just a scenic base, it doesn't matter. When I built my Ahriman out, and then his staff broke, and then I never played him again because I felt bad. So like it kind of yeah, the kit is assemblable with him on foot because you can just put him on the ground. But the implication of the instructions, I think, is that he's supposed to be on the disc. So it actually wouldn't be. It's like not crazy that he would be kind of locked into being a foot guy. That's a good call out, though. Love using the 30k Ahriman for Ahriman foot. He's so much smaller though. This model is fucking minuscule if you compare him to current day Ahriman. I use this guy as like a sorcerer, I think, or I used him as an Infernal Master for a while, and he's still way smaller than the other Infernal Master. Because the current like incarnation of rubrics are basically scaled to be like somewhere around Primera's size. And the 30k Marines are so fucking tiny in comparison. He's an absolute baby. My Armand's in my closet behind me right now, but if I would go grab him if I could and show you how like silly small he is compared to the actual model, the 40k model. Because I do have both. I love that. I love the 30k model. He's so cool. The staff definitely helps a lot. But like, you put that guy on a 40 mil base, like mine's on a 40 mil base. He's dwarfed. He's absolutely dwarfed. I should have built up a scenic base for him, I think. But he is super duper tank. 50 points cheaper if he comes to the disc. Yeah, I think the difference there though is that he is let's check. I'm expecting a delivery today. I just want to make sure I don't miss it on the stream. All right, it'll let me know. He's not going to be generating like as much passive value as he did previously, because previously he would give you the equivalent of like 20 Cabal points over the course of a game, because he would give you or because he was Cabalist. He was a Cabal 3 sorcerer, so he gave you 3 Cabal points every round, so up to 15, and then he would do 1 free ritual. So if he survived the entire game, he usually did a ritual for 6-ish, and then he would give you 15 Cabal points. So he was 21 Cabal points, plus like just a goober running around. It wasn't the easiest thing to kill, and had a 3 damage melee weapon. So like, if he's not doing all that, obviously he's super not worth 150 points. It sounds like, from what people have been saying, he's probably not worth 100, but we'll see in the new codex. But yeah, all people with him on the ground get banned. Yeah, they'll figure it out. He's just like, you just like pop him off the base and you put another base on top of his base. He's like, that's his disc. Cool, man. But I honestly don't think it matters that much, to be perfectly fair. I think you could probably play him either way. If he ends up being like move 10 mounted, though, it will be funny. In the new codex. So Rubric Marines down to between 19 and 20 points a model. They do have 10 points off for playing a unit of 10. We don't know what their abilities are, but it sounds like at the very least they're going to be AP to ignore cover, which with rerolls baked in actually makes them kind of scary as a unit. So excited to see that. Predator's still in here at 130 and 140 points for Annihilator and Destructor, respectively. Defiler is in line with the Death Guard Codex, but we don't know what it does. Demon Prince, 180 might be okay. We'll see. He has some sort of casting buff, is what the leak said. Like a +1 to cast an aura or something. Are you coming up, Kitty? Which might be okay for 180 if that ends up being like super important for how the faction plays. Winged Demon Prince at 170. I imagine he'll have to do some pretty impressive stuff to be worth taking. But I don't know. There she is. My co-commentator here to give her thoughts on the Thousand Suns index point or codex points. What's up? You knocking my microphone around? Aw, cutie pie. Yeah. Wow. Hi. Maybe Armand gets a similar role to Invictus to give the rubric more movement. That would be interesting. I would love to see that at the very least for the Disc Sorcerer. It is a little bit weird right now that like Thousand Suns do have this, like a lot of their characters have attachment options, but you're so disincentivized from attaching them currently because they're so much better on their own that it's like, why even bother? It's weird. Demon Princes are cheaper than everyone else's. That's true. Yeah, I imagine that's because the Foot Demon Prince likely doesn't have a CP generation aura or a cost reduction aura. The Wing Demon Prince, if you still have like flyover mortals, that ability is like kind of bad. So I don't know. Wouldn't be that excited about it. Flyer mortals are good. It's good in such a narrow use case. You very rarely get it off before you already have hit something the first time, unless you're doing rapid ingress stuff. And even then, it's usually not enough damage for it to really matter. Like, if anything, take like the Emperor's Children, like mortal wounds based on wounds characteristic, and turn that into a flyover effect. Like, make the impact mortals be like consistent but relatively low, but then the flyover mortals be like high, because it's so much harder to get off. That would be how I would expect it to be. We've got Zangor Enlightened and Enlightened with Bows are both two separate data sheets. It looks like they're 50 points for 3, just as they are currently. Sector robots are 45 points per model. What's hilarious about the Sector robots is how expensive they were on the, I guess in the original book printing. Like 290 points for 4 for like a unit of 4 dudes with flamers. Like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Like, that's insanity. You wouldn't pay 300 points for a minimum sized unit of centurions, and that's like, and these are worse. That's like the book costing for Sekitar is like so pants on head. It makes me laugh. Their rhinos up to 90. Zangors looks like come in units of 20. Which is disappointing, I think. And really pretty wild. It does mean that the faction has literally no access to 10-mans outside of the demon detachment. To like 10-man like cultist, essentially. Outside of the demon detachment. If that's correct. That could also be a typo. Oh, guy who compiled missed the 10-man? All right, sweet. Yeah, I was actually literally just about to go check the original version. Just in case. It ended up posted somewhere, and I forget where I saw it. I didn't save it because I had this one. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, Zangors 10 to 20. Yeah, they're just more expensive at larger numbers for whatever reason, but 70 points for 10 is pretty reasonable. Especially if they keep their ability to like buff your team. I don't know. They should be good. Good utility stuff. Yeah, that would be rough. You have to buy 2 boxes for sure. Let's see. Vindicator 185. Okay, and then we get into Scintillating Legion stuff. We've got Screamers, same cost as the regular Screamers, 80 for 3, 160 for 6. Probably going to be pretty impressive in that detachment. We'll see what they end up doing. If you can like extra move them and stuff with Temporal Surge, I think that that's actually going to be kind of neat. Pink and Blue Horror is really cheap. If the World Eaters Codex is anything to go by, they will probably, or at least the Blue Horrors will probably drop to OC1. The Pink Horrors will probably drop to OC1. The Blue Horrors, I don't know what they are in Demons right now, actually. They are currently 125. So it's 35 points less in Thousand Suns than they are in than they are here. Than they are in the Demons Index, which is pretty wild. They're currently OC1, but they infiltrate. So it would be interesting if they keep their infiltration. It could be that they lose infiltrate, and that's why they're so cheap. Or you just have really access to really, really cheap 10-man infiltrator units. I don't know. Isn't the Lions change a nerf to attach characters? No. A character attached to an Adeptus Custodes unit is still a model in an Adeptus Custodes unit. The character being attached doesn't not make it an Adeptus Custodes unit. If it said Adeptus Custodes models, that would be the nerf, but it doesn't say that. Flamers at 65 or 130, same as the Demon Index. Kairos Feet Warlords to change it 260 or 250. I don't particularly foresee, unless the detachment has some like crazy strats for them, I don't super foresee Lords of Change being particularly playable. Kairos as a CP generator might be neat. Lords of Change need so much help on their gun to be good. And it could be that they have a different weapon profile. That would be kind of unprecedented, but profile changes for the allied demons isn't unheard of. But I don't know. The Bolt of Change at like range 18, strength 9 is really not where it's at, my guy. So I don't know. Max robots. Just 12 robots right in the middle of the table. Let's go. Let's go. We do have names for the detachments. At least these are translated, but I assume that they're basically going to be very similar. Names and enhancement names. I can't really speak to what any of these are. We have Warp Cursed Warband, Warp Forged Cabal, Rubrique Phalanx, Grand Conclave, which I think is almost certainly going to be the Cult of Magic side, like the new Cult of Magic detachment, because those are all the same Cult of Magic enhancements. Host of Change and Deceit is probably I imagine that's the Demon detachment, and then Warp Fused Pact seems like it would be the Mutant detachment, the Vortex Beast and Zangor detachment. Getting things like Lord of the Flock and Shifting Entity kind of speaks to that. So, but I don't know that we're just talking about it. Yeah. So yeah, it is funny. Assuming that these names are correct, it is going to be impossible to tell these apart because you have Warp Cursed, Warp Forged, Warp Fused, and Hex Warp as 4 of the 7 detachments they have access to. Over half of their detachments are some form of a magical thing and warp. Which will be funny. I don't know. Like, which one are you playing? And you're just like, the one with the vehicles. For sure. Helper Rule is purportedly a battle shock test after being shot at. Oh. That's not very good at all. Yucky.
Ryan G donated $50.
Whoa, Ryan G with the super chat, my dude.
Disappointing. Basar. The brave herd cometh. The Dark Gods challenge you to win a match taking every Zanga unit possible when the Codex comes out.
Every Zangor.
Rest of list can be anything you want. Bar.
Let's go. Let's go! I gotta play Khorne Berserkers, which I'm not sure what my plans tonight look like, but if I end up having free time, it will be a Khorne Berserker game tonight. I do have a tournament game scheduled tomorrow, but I think I also have Friday I can play, I believe, so I'll be able to play over there too. I was actually going to go like on a little vacation this weekend, but I think a combination of I'm waiting to get all my new cameras in chat for live stream DreamHack, which will probably happen on Saturday, so I don't think I can leave the house. I would prefer not to miss like $2,000 worth of deliveries, but then I could play more games with funny lists. But as soon as the Codex comes out, yeah, we'll do a Zangor game, a Zan game as it were. So that's 6 enlightened units, so 36 enlightened, 3 shamans, and then the rest of the list is likely just Zangors. How many points is that? Let's do a calculation. So it is, if we take maximum Zangor enlightened, it is 240 per, so 480. If we take maximum Zangor shamans, it's 155 or 165, excuse me. Then we have 1355 left. If we take 6 units of Zangors, it's 160 times 6, 960. So we have a grand total of 1605, and then we could fill the rest with Mutalith Vortex Beasts. Let's go. There you go, chat. That's a list. That's a real list. Let's do it. I do sound better. Yeah. I basically like pumped myself. Yesterday was really brutal. Yesterday, my throat was like absolutely on fire. I pumped myself full of drugs and sleeping pills, and I made myself sleep for like 14 hours, and I woke up today and I felt much better. So I think I'm on the mend. I think by tomorrow or Friday, I'll probably be in a better spot for sure. Thank God. It's been a really long journey. I don't know why this took so long, but I appreciate that. Watch that be a meta list. Yeah. And it's just like I'm just easily bowling people over. Just play Warp Warp, increasing warpiness. Indeed. Good stuff. Anyway, chat. I think that's all. Hopefully we get an army reveal for tomorrow. Yeah, so the release date for the faction is the end of the month, right? Is the 31st, I think. Which means that starting next week. Is it the 31st or the 25th? Shit, I saw the document that people leaked and now I don't remember. Mutilith Space Triple Defilers. I mean, if the Defilers are good, but Mutilith Vortex Beasts apparently are like super like turbocharged by the detachment. So I don't know. That might be the way to go. Is the 31st? All right. So we'll probably the end of next week. We'll probably get full reveals. So we'll probably be able to, I mean, now that we have points, we'll be able to play with this in most likely 10 days, which will be fucking sick, dude. It felt like there was a little bit of a dry spell for a second there, like sort of towards the start of the year. We got like the demon update, and then that was like kind of and some other random shit, like Aeldari, I guess. And now it's just like Kodak, Emperor's Children, World Eaters, Death Guard, Thousand Suns, boom, 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 boom. Just re-release the entire fucking faction. Let's go. 2025 Year of Chaos might actually be correct. Who knows? 2-week pre-order is this Saturday. Perfect. Sweet. Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited. I don't know. These points values seem pretty reasonable. Obviously, if we see like Rubric Marines get super torqued and the new Rhinos sound like super sick, then that could be really good. I don't know. That just seems like it's sweet. I'm a little sort of lukewarm on the Sekitar robots. I don't know. For units of 2, like as infiltrators, they seem fine, but they don't feel like particularly hard to kill, or they're like annoying to kill, I guess. And it doesn't seem like they do very much damage, and they're probably pretty slow. So like, I don't know if you're really getting a lot of value out of them, but we'll see. Hey, thank you for the Twitch follows. Appreciate that, guys. Be live on Twitch later. But anyway, I think that's all I have to talk about today, chats. Good stuff. The new updates are kind of a big nothing burger. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I imagine we'll see that in a couple weeks anyway, so. Anyway, folks, the leaks did say that sorcerers can attach to them. Yeah, I wonder what that does. My hope would be that they have an ability that says when a sorcerer attaches, the sorcerer gains infiltrate. I hope they don't do a thing that they did with Worldy or with Death Guard, where they're like, "Hey, attach a million things to your Poxwalkers. They lose infiltrate. Get fucked." And you're like, okay, well, I mean, that's probably for the best. We probably don't want to give Typhus infiltrate, but. It's kind of annoying. Anti-synergy. I hope they have a thing that says the sorcerer gains infiltrate. These models' weapons gain +1 weapon skill, ballistic skill. That'd be neat. And then if sorcerers are like independently good at attacking, and a sorcerer, like you get a warp flame pistol and you get like a gun that shoots a million times and sustains. So like a free Overwatch out of that guy might be good. Like maybe there's something there. The problem is that once you attach a sorcerer to an infiltrate unit, it doesn't become a utility unit anymore. It's like actually expensive and gives up assassination and 2 kills. So you don't really want to use it like frivolously, which I think is kind of the idea with these guys. Like you can infiltrate them up, they can fight for objectives on turn 1, and then they can go like score you your area denial or something, and then be kind of annoying to engage with because they're not gonna die to like random pop guns, and then if you push into them, they just overwatch you for free. So like that's kind of annoying too. But I don't know. We'll see. See how they end up. Flamer, Rockets, Claws seem great for 90. Yeah, we got to see what the stat lines are, right? Because apparently Hellfire Missile Racks are changing. Like, we don't know if any of these weapons are twin linked. It looks like they should be. I don't know. But I don't know. The all sorcerer list actually pretty decent. Yeah, I think that was because of how what's the word? The Kabbalistic rituals worked. Like once you play all sorcerers, your capacity to perform Kabbalistic rituals is basically unmitigated because you have like you're playing with like 25 Cabal points every turn, just like fucking insane. So that I doubt that ends up being as good as it was in the index. .3D printer go burr. Yeah, there's already 3D sculpts out for Sekatar. I might print some myself, to be perfectly honest, just so I have them. My printers aren't doing anything right now. And they fit my theme. I'm all Egypty. And so having like cool Jaffa looking guys fits perfectly. I don't even have to add any extra gubbins. Anyway, chat, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today. For this little discussion. Yeah. I think it seems good. I don't know. I'm excited. And it's a good thing that we have the World Eaters and Death Guard Codex at points locked in, so at least we can play it without referring to weird stuff. So with that, I am going to hop off. So thanks everyone for watching. I think just let me just do this real quick, just so that we're here. I will redirect you all. I made an event page, a streaming event for DreamHack. DreamHack's going to be next weekend, so not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. I'm leaving on Wednesday to travel down to Dallas to do that. So big shout out to the NTL guys for asking me out there. I made a post about this on the community page, but I put about $2,500 into new equipment for streaming. So like hopefully like a huge level up to the quality of that live stream. Anyone who wants to support me, I would greatly appreciate it. So I can make all my credit card payments, all this new cameras and shit that I'm buying. But hopefully that the coverage looks amazing. I'm gonna get all that stuff over the weekend and play around with it, do some testing, and hopefully it looks great. So it will likely be that I will have a I don't think, because the venue Wi-Fi is really bad, I have to pay for my own Wi-Fi, which is annoying. I don't think I'll be able to do a multi-stream, but I will have 2 tables on stream, which means I'll probably have a recorded one that I'll put up for patrons and channel members. So if you are interested in that, we'll get 2 games on stream, one on the main table and then one on the side table. I likely also have coverage of multiple other tables that we'll be able to cut to like we do normally. So that's the plan for the weekend. But it's going to be 5 rounds of 8-player Team 40k. The finals of the National Tabletop League, which is the biggest 8-player team league for North America. It's basically the equivalent of like a WTC qualifier, but for NA, essentially. So that's what's going on. I think it's going to be sweet, and I will see you then. So I'll redirect you all to that live stream. Please just hit the little notification bell so you get it. You get notified when the first day goes live, and I'll see you over there. Cheers, everybody.